So I actually haven't covered a lot of JD Vance. In America right now, there's been huge talk about the downfall of the young men in our country, where they fit in society, and mainly the loss of manufacturing.
We're going to take another question, basically on the topic of cost of living.
I'm 22 years old, like they said. I desire to start a family.
God bless you, man.
Thank you. What is your action plan for, affordable cost of living, affordable wages, all those such things for young families who want to start a healthy family, who want to have a healthy journey?
I think for most young men, the American dream includes starting a family and becoming a father, and we ought to make that easier with our public policy and not harder, which is unfortunately what we've been doing for the last few years in this country. And let me just give you some specifics here, because when I hear people talk about, look, I think there are three big problems that we have when it comes to giving young men and young women the necessary parts of being able to build some real financial stability, some real financial wealth, so then they can start a family from a position of strength. Number one, we want high wages. We want good jobs that pay an affordable living wage, not just jobs that pay a minimum wage that allow people to scrape by. And I think a big part of that is encouraging our country to build more factories, to build more good manufacturing jobs, and I appreciate y'all clapping that, but a big part of this is when my grandfather was growing up, and even when my father was growing up, we didn't tell everybody that to earn a middle class wage, you had to go to college. I think we got to tell everybody, whether you want to go to college or don't want to go to college, there ought to be good jobs available for everybody who's willing to work hard, willing to learn, and willing to play by the rules.
There's a lot of respect because most politicians wouldn't say something like that. The college hustle over the past, let's say 25, 30 years, going back to the mid 90s or even early 90s, this push for college for every single person to go to college and get a bachelor's degree at minimum has been a crazy hustle. And we see it now in the amount of student loan debt. Now people are starting to rethink it. My generation, those of us in their 30s and 40s who went to college, have huge debt, and a lot of people went for degrees they didn't need. Now, bringing it to what JD Vance said, I give him a lot of credit because that's the uncomfortable truth. The whole manufacturing base leaving the US definitely took away jobs that, our grandfathers, great grandfathers, and so on used to be able to go ahead and go work a job and make a decent living. Why? Because we were manufacturing things that, Americans purchase and other people around the world purchase. So if you can produce something and you have factories and places that people can work, there is a way for many middle Americans to make a decent wage. So everybody's not going to go necessarily to be a doctor, a lawyer, or work in tech, or to be an engineer. We all want our kids to go in those directions, but we have to be real. Everybody can't be in those fields. So those other fields, when it comes to working with our hands, construction, manufacturing, all the trades and things like that, we can't forget about those things. And if we are able to bring back some level of manufacturing, it would change places that are struggling. Places like Youngstown, Ohio, a lot of middle American, Midwest towns and places in the South that used to be great manufacturing hubs that are now destitute places.
And I don't know, Jared, your educational background, but whether you want to go get a college degree, go become a doctor, or whether you want to go and work in a factory, which a lot of people say working in a factory is working with your hands. Well, it is working with your hands, but it's also working with your mind. And I think that we got to remember that important lesson for our young people is there are a lot of good jobs out there. It's my job as vice president to make sure there are more. And we got to build a culture where people can go and work in whatever job they see fit to live their American dream and provide for their family. So that's number one. By the way, I want to give you a statistic on that. People will sometimes say America has the biggest economy in the world, and we do. About 1/4 of all economic activity comes out of the United States of America. But you know how much manufacturing comes out of the United States of America? About 18%. You know how much manufacturing comes out of China? About 30%. That's going in the wrong direction, my friends. And unless we build more of our own stuff, are more self-reliant and more self-sufficient, we're never going to be able to provide enough good jobs for middle-class people. We got to bring manufacturing back to this country.
You got to say about the Republican ticket this go round, when they're asked a specific question, they can give a specific answer and give examples and not just sell you good vibes, right? He could have gave you the good vibe answer and just said, "We need to lift up the middle class and provide opportunity," and just said these things, right? But he actually, the question is, do you want someone to make you feel good, or you want someone to tell you the truth, right? So hopefully you feel good about the truth. This is one of the reasons why men are tending to identify more with the Trump ticket this time around. Speaking as a man, I don't need good vibes. Don't sell me good vibes and dreams and vague, ambiguous things. A lot of young men who are looking to their future, looking to build families, a lot of men as myself who already have a family, we're looking at people who identify where the country's actually at. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Crucial Convo.